I think I can confidently say that I am one of the happiest people on the face of the planet, and that's simply because I choose positivity every single time instead of choosing negativity. And if you're asking what I choose positivity in, it's life. Overall, just in the entirety of life. Situations that you come across in life, you get to choose whether you want to think positively or you want to think negatively. The only thing that differs about every single situation that you're presented with in life is the choice that you take. And because the choice can differ, but you don't need to make it differ. You could basically choose positivity every single time. And that means that when you become homeless, you don't tell yourself, no, my life is over, why did God do this to me? You tell yourself, oh, perfect, now I can build my dream business because I quite literally have nothing to lose. Realize the mindset shift. You're shifting your mindset. Instead of wanting to think negatively, you want to think positively. And you look at every single situation that you're presented with and you choose to think positively instead of choosing to think negatively. That will boost your quality of life a ton. You don't even realize the place that I live in, the equipment that I have didn't improve. The equipment for YouTube improved a bit, but that was something that's not naturally that was going to happen, and that's not what gave me happiness. And my computer didn't improve. Nothing that I had improved. It's simply I chose to perceive situations as something better instead of something worse, and that made my life improve. That gave my life that quality of boost that I didn't even know quality of life that I didn't even know I had. I was watching this really happened when I was watching one of my favorite YouTubers, and I was just watching a podcast that he made, and one of his friends was there, and he was explaining that he was living in a country filled with warfare. So people were dying all around him, and that was when he was 15 years old. Imagine that, 15 years old, and people were dying around him, every single place around him. And one old man once died on his shoulder when he was 15 by shrapnel from a grenade. It launched into his throat, and he died. And you know what the man was grateful for? You know what that guy was grateful for? He was grateful for the fact that the man was there. Because imagine if the man wasn't there. That shrapnel shard would have hit his shoulder and and he might have had to amputate that shoulder. He was grateful for the fact that he still had his shoulder. And I wasn't even grateful for the fact that I have a phone. I was ungrateful for the fact that I don't have a good camera or a good phone or good lighting. Imagine that. I wasn't grateful for a phone, he was grateful for his shoulder. See the difference? As soon as I picked up on that, I realized that what the hell was I thinking? I should be more positive about the things that happened to me. So when I started being positive, and that's when it clicked, start being positive about everything. Because if you're negative about something, you keep thinking about that as negativity for the rest of your entire day. For example, the example of the homeless man. If you ask yourself, why did God do this to me? Why did God do this to me? You'll spend the entirety of your life being pissed off. But if you think of it as something positive, your emotional state will completely change, and you'll seize opportunities that that you've never seen before. It's simply the way you perceive a situation. You can't change what comes towards you, but you can change the way you want to perceive it. People say life is filled with highs and lows, but I want you to just think about it for a second. How is life filled with highs and lows if the highs and lows are what outcome of the situation that you have? For example, if you're presented with a complete low and you think that's an insanely low, right? And you decide to think of it as something negative. In your eyes, your graph of life was like this, up, then it went to a deep low. But if you decide to to perceive it as something positive because it helped you in something else, or just choose a random reason for it to be something positive, and keep looking for the reasons, because trust me, every single time I thought to myself, oh, this thing might not actually have a positive, I've realized, hell no, you're just not thinking enough. There is a positive. You just didn't see it yet. It's always like this. Every single time I've been presented with a situation, I've realized that there was a positive for it. I just haven't seen it yet. It's always like that. The cycle keeps repeating. And when I realized that, I told myself I won't stop. Whenever I'm presented with a situation that I find as a low, I won't stop. I won't ever stop and tell myself it's a negative. I'll always pause, think to myself, how could this situation be turned into a positive? Then I'll try to turn it into a positive, and trust me, that gives you an entire quality of life boost like no other. You're able to live life while thinking that every single thing that you have in life is there, and you're grateful for it. Every single thing that you have, you're grateful for the, thi- the things that come your way. You're not just ungrateful for every single thing and you're telling yourself, why do this, why do that, when I could have done this easier thing, I could have done that thing, I didn't want to tire myself. Take a deep breath. It's you. The problem isn't with the situation that you're presented with. The problem is always with you. You're the one who changes the belief of the situation that you have. You're the one that chooses to perceive the situation in the wrong way. So you get the wrong outcome. It's all your choice. Why are you blaming other situations for it? As soon as you give the responsibility to someone other than you, you'll get negative. Because you don't choose to control it anymore. You gave that control to someone else. You don't choose to perceive it in the way you want to perceive it anymore. When you tell yourself you're homeless, why did God do this to me? Why did my parents kick me out? You chose to give that responsibility to them. You're not taking responsibility for it. And that's exactly why you're not going to be able to perceive it as a positive. Get my point? Take the responsibility and choose to perceive the situation that you have as a positive instead of a negative. You'll see major boosts. And you know what helps with this? You know what actually helps you? Be able to click out of the negative frequencies you're in and click out of the negative zones you're in and always choose positives. It's people around you that are positive. Just like people around you that are negative emit negative frequencies that latch onto you. People around you that are positive emit positive frequencies that also latch onto you. And those positive frequencies will always make you choose a positive choice instead of a negative choice. It's like being on a day and you're celebrating that day so much. You know that day. It's like being on Christmas Eve. I don't even celebrate Christmas because I'm a Muslim, but imagine being on Christmas Eve and you're having the time of your life with your family. You're sitting, you're cozy. If something negative happens, like you stub your toe, you're just gonna laugh because you're already in a positive state. And that's exactly what happens when you have friends around you. You're always in a positive state, and they realize they pick up on that negative frequencies you're emitting when you start going into a negative state, and they're able to pull you back to the positive state. So it will help you choose positive decisions and positive frequencies every single time you feel like you're gonna fall into negativity. Those friends are perfect. And where can you find a friend group like that? I found it. I have had a friend group like that, but I've realized most people in the entire world don't have that. And since positive people are spread so thin in the entire world, like 2% or 3% of the world is actually positive, I've realized that I can't gather them IRL. I really can't gather them in real life. It'll just be impossible. So the best way I could gather them is online. And that's why I made a community called Social Media of Positivity, where you'll benefit, I'll benefit, and anybody else that enters will also benefit, and you'll all be able to help each other. I'll be there for you. And right now, this community is one of the best decisions you could possibly take in your entire life. Because other than it being a community and other than me being there to support you and help you get out of the negativity every single time you're feeling it, it will also be a place where you can ask me the questions that you have in mind and the questions that you don't know the answers to, and I'll be able to help you. Because right now, there's barely anyone inside the community. There's no one inside the community right now. It's just me. And if you join, think about it. At first, you might think of it as something negative, but trust me, when you think about it again, it's not negative, because all my attention, all my focus will be on you, which means it'll basically be a one-on-one. You realize that? The link for it is in the description. It's called Social Media of Positivity. Always remember to stay positive, and I'll see you in the next video.